Welcome to the Donny Chain Gang. Just having a little chat off camera. Wants to drink my coffee. Grand Tour Coffee. Don't forget discounts for the DCG gang. Members Supports Club. Good stuff. Better put this down ready, haven't I? Day 3 in the Big Brother house. Matt slightly losing the plot because we're on 3 out of 3 days of chain gangs. Last night we had the amazing women only chain gang, and we've just announced we've got 4 more coming out in February and March during lockdown on the 10th, and I think it's going to be the 24th of both February and March, and they are going to be women only. So women only Wednesdays on the Donny Chain Gang, and that's going to be kicking off on the 10th of February. In the meantime, got lots more great stuff coming up, and we are going to be bringing you tonight one of my favourite courses, probably the course, as some of you will know, that got me falling in love with Zwift as a whole, and that is quite simply because it was really a quick way to get out and ride, even when it was grim, raining, horrible outside. And certainly this is one of those routes that really has got a little bit of everything. A man who knows it backwards, and I think was out on course earlier on, is Russ. So let's see if we can get hold of Russ by the power and the magic of technology. Hello, Russ. Can we hear Russ? That's the question. Hello, Russell. Don't you just hate it when tech works in the rehearsals and not in real life? He's back. But we can't hear him. I can't hear him. You can't hear him. Some would say that's actually a bonus, but personally I'm not sure that it is. Well, I can see Ross. He's looking very bemused in the distance. You can probably hear me, but we can't hear him. He's definitely not muted. So we're going to jump away from Russ for the moment, and let's just see if we can get him back in a second. Got a lot of tech. It's worked 2 out of 3, which isn't bad, to quote Meatloaf. However, let's jump across quickly. We're going to show you the course first of all, then we'll jump back in with Russ. He can cope with it. He's a big boy. And we'll leave open the sound, and you never know, we might get him back able to talk to us very shortly. He'll jump in, I'm sure, if that's the case. So let's go to the course. We have a great course for you. Watopia Flat route. Yellow Beacon is Russ, the bear. So guys, make sure that you give him a follow. Make sure that you stay around the Yellow Beacon. The Red Beacon is Craig Genther, another of our very, very experienced riders, and we know that Craig is going to be more than capable of holding everything together. The course leading is 0.5k. We come off the pier and drop straight in on the way round Watopia, and it's 4 circuits, so 4 times round, guys. I hope you can count to 4 of 10.3k. We finish at the Zwift Flat banner on the seafront, and you're going to get plenty of chances to have a look at that. It's a very fast running indeed. Total distance for the ride 41.7 to get to that Zwift banner, warm down of 1.3 to the blue banner, and that's a total of 43k. Fair amount of height on the way round, and going to be 260 meters of climbing as we go around. So what does that look like on the map? Well, let's show you. I'm going to disappear, and let's bring you the all-important map. So we come from the seashore from the start, and we go round in a clockwise direction. We go through the undersea tunnels, which have a drop and a rise in them, which is going to make things interesting in the group. We then come up onto the climb of the Italian Villas, which is where the green dots are now, that sort of M shape. Come from that climb through Italian Villas and go through the sprint in towards the bridge. 300-meter sprint, and not sure how many people are even going to bother going for that, because if you use your energy there, you're not going to have it for the climb that comes immediately afterwards. As you come off the small island, back onto the big island, there is a climb up and out into the S's, as they're known. And the S's section is a real roller coaster. You've got to get that right, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. And then it's a fast run down to the finish. Let's get fellow viewer up and running, and big thanks, of course, to VeloViewer. This gives you a much more accurate idea of what that climbing is like, because we start just at the top of your screen and we have a gradual drop down into the tunnels. Then we're underneath the sea, and that is the right hand side of that graphic. And then we do a sharp right turn climb out of the tunnels. You can just see that yellow section just started to be highlighted. We go off there and then along the boards, along the marinas, and then we come up into the Italian villas, and that is the folded section, the hairpin turns before coming down and in across the bridge. And the bridge is on the left hand side just before that big yellow climb. That big yellow climb is the run into the S's, and then it's a roller coaster back around, and then a drop down at the very top of the course back into the finishing line, and that is really, really quick. You're gonna have to be on the ball when we hit that, otherwise you're not going to be able to keep it together, and you're not going to be able to stay on the wheels as you come in and through. So let's see if we can get hold of Russ. You never know, we might be able to get him on one or multiple devices. It's always possible.
Hello.
So Russ, we're using the old school method here. Question is, can Russ hear us? Looks like he might be in a little bit of a tech black hole today. Got the tunes running though. Struggling, definitely. That is for sure. But let's see if the legs work better than the tech. Sounds like Russ has got the disco tunes on. He's definitely got a disco top on. So we're going to leave Russ in peace with 3 minutes to go, because it is a big gang tonight. Already 260 riders on. Russ, if you can hear us, good luck, mate. Herding cats speciality going to be put to good use. So let's take the sound off that, because Russ clearly difficult to get hold of tonight. And some days it works, some days it doesn't. But do you know what? We can live with that. So we are going to head across and see how everybody's getting on. It's looking busy down on the start line. Remember, as you come out from the start, unlike most of the rides on Zwift, you don't need to hammer your way out from the start. We have a steady start, and that is really important that our riders respect that and come together pretty smoothly. That means that it is a lot smoother out. Now let's have a little run through of some of the riders who are here. We are going to be taking a little bit of a look across. So let's jump across and take a little bit of a look down on the start line. You can see it's looking pretty busy down there. We're just going to take a quick check around. Let's see if we can get up in the air with the drone cam. So this is the first 100 riders on the start line. Remember, with 300, there are 3 times that behind, which means that we're filling to the back of the pier. The pier actually is a magic pier, and it extends to fit everybody in. So remember, over 300 riders on the screen. You can see it in front of you. I've got my screens over there. Camera's over here. And another screen hidden in the back, and another one back there. I know a few people have been looking at tech specs to get this running. We've also got another screen in the back, another computer, another Mac running in the back, and more PCs. There's another PC in here, and there's one under there. And we're just working on another one as well to keep everything rolling and broadcasting. But the riders need to just remember one thing: focus on staying around that yellow, and certainly looking very, very busy with 1 minute and 19 seconds to go. Remember, guys, this is all about riding with the group. We want you to be nice and smooth when you're out there. We want you to be able to ride comfortably around in that group and bring everybody on. So the question for me tonight is going to be, how many of our members from the DONNYCHAINGANG Supporters Club, the DCG gang, are actually going to be in that finishing group? We've got a little bet on tonight here at the studio between me and Emma, who was our leader last night, who is somewhere about 60 feet that way. And it's about how many of our members are going to be in at the finish in that last group. There's quite a lot of them who have joined, particularly some of the pros. And remember, of course, that's the way to get the link straight to your inbox. Quick reminder, guys, make sure it's not an email that you send people if you don't want them to send you an email. Remember to turn your password on. Make sure that the email works. Make sure you check the spam folder. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, remember you spell it correctly when you sign on. Then if you're a member of the club, we send you all the links, all the updates, all the discount codes. We've got some great discounts coming up, including big discount from Pretty Gritty. Yes, I have got the top on again. Yes, I have washed it in between, and yes, it is amazing. So the riders are starting to head out, and I think Dean Downing in this group, as is our big red beacon, that is Craig Genther, and we're going to have a little bit of a look and just keep our eyes on everybody as they start heading out onto the course. It's certainly looking incredibly busy out there. We're going to just watch the last riders. As you can see, one or two riders are just rolling out, having one or two issues on the way out from the start. And already seeing Scott Thwaites is out there, Jimmy Allen out on course, so Mr. Coulshaw is here. Good to see Alan Parsons in the mix. So as you can see, our riders heading out. If you've not watched before, things to keep an eye out for. So just about there is the map. The map is available for you if you're on Zwift. Remember, you can move those about and you can change it into a 3D view, a close-up view, and the long view. We're going to drop in on the close-up from above. That gives us a nice idea of where everybody is. Top left-hand corner of the screen, so all the way over there is the watts. We're currently in with Scott Thwaites, who's kicking it out 135 watts. Rolling around 83 revs per minute, 108 beats per minute, and just sitting in the group, just in the back behind Dean. Looks like Rob Scott in this group as well, and Rob, another of our professional riders in the group. We're just going to keep an eye on them as they go through. So the riders are rolling around, keeping it very comfortable. The board on the far left hand side, that gives us our data. So if we go through a sprint line, it'll tell us who's absolutely flying and who isn't. And remember, of course, on the right hand side of the screen, the rider that's lit up in blue, that's the rider that we're watching. We can drop them a ride on, and that will come riding down on Scott's head as we speak. So Scott just get a ride on from us here in the commentary box and just working his way out. So let's see if it is rolling. It certainly looks good. So let's just jump in and join the ride here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne, bringing you all of the Donny Chain Gang. So it looks like Scott Thwaites sitting comfortably in this group, just keeping an eye as they go down in through the tunnels. When we see sitting in the group comfortably for him, he's anywhere within about half K from the back. Scott just nicely rolling around, just keeping those revs moving. It looks like Craig Genther on Red Beacon, just about to drop his way in. Craig, one of our regulars on the Donny Chain Gang. And Craig, no doubt, waiting for people to come back and join him. We'll see who is going to be in the party bus at the back. In the meantime, up at the front, that group just starting to go away. And please remember, guys, make sure that you keep yourselves way up and on the ball. Make sure you try and stay around that yellow beacon. You can already see it stretching out here away from our red beacon. And remember, we need to make sure that you keep it absolutely smooth, keep it nailed, and remember, stay on those wheels. So just taking a look at the Discord channel for the Red Beacon, the party bus at the back. There is a few people on there. I think Ted already on there as well. And Craig just rolling his way up. Looks like one or two people missing the start. Darren Billings doing so. Let's have a little look at Darren. He's going to have to hammer now to get himself right up there. So let's see just how fast it goes. Let's take a little bit of a look further up the road. Looks like Foxy just in with the group here, and another of our riders who was out riding yesterday on the women's DONNYCHAINGANG. And Foxy now just keeping those legs rolling around, and I think Craig is on his way, Emma on the way towards the back, and our beacon in the women only DONNYCHAINGANG here on screen at the moment. And let's have a little bit of a look, doing a little bit of a steadier ride tonight, we think, and ticking along at the moment. 130 beats per minute, 86 reps per minute, 147. And let's see if the guys are going. And it looks like Tim Cooper's just in front, so Tim looking for a ticket for the party bus as well. G&T's all round, so it sounds like the party bus is already going. Craig's got to join this gang on the way through. So Tim Cooper is in here looking good. It looks like Teddy's just up the road, so let's take a little bit of a look. We'll jump in with Tim at the moment, and if we jump on our drone cam, just take a little bit of a look. So Tim, Emma, along with Foxy, just making the way along here. They've got the Craig get to the red beacon behind. Darren Billings about 9 seconds, and Darren having missed the start. In front, 12 seconds up is Ted, and Ted looks like he's giving it some beans here on the run up towards the climb. So let's take a look. It looks at the moment the guys are just rolling up onto the top of the climb, and Ted is chasing hard here. 5.3 watts per kilo from Ted, and certainly is giving it big beans at the moment. Let's take a look. No sweat on Ted's face at the moment. He's rolling around very nicely on that Zwift concept bike. And here he comes, just going past Andy Caldwell, just going over the top of the climb at 1.6. Ted just cresting that at 2.2. Looks to be closing down on Scott Thwaites, the rider from Alpecin Phoenix, just in front. So let's have a little look. It looks like it is Scott Thwaites in front. So Scott can see behind. Coming is Ted in front. Well, it's a bit dusty, and it is Tom Skubala. Not too far in front, but immediately it's going to be Daryl, who's just being passed here by Thwaites. Then it's going to be a Webb, and as you can see, it is incredibly dusty down on the run around. We've climbed out from the tunnels, and we're going to be taking the right hand turn out towards the villas. So let's take a little bit of a look, get the drone up in the sky for you, and let's take a little bit of a look. It looks like Scott just taking a little bit of an ease off on the power and doing efforts at the back. And this is, guys, what you need to be doing if you're a stronger rider. Back off the back, come back forwards, come off the back, bring people forwards, doing that work. That's what it's all about. And I think Scott there just going to try and help Ted back on. So excuse me whilst I just impart some OTE. Much needed today. It's been a busy 3 weeks. 3 weeks, 3 days. It's been a busy 3 weeks. This is the last of 3 chain gangs on week number 3. So just going to take a little bit of a look. Daryl just coming in and through. Thwaites is in here. Looks like Webb just in front. Just dropping in with Webb at the moment. So Webb working up onto the back. Then it's going to be Pearson just in front there. Just taking a little bit of a look. It is jumping about a little bit here. So just in with Russ at the moment. So a quick reminder, guys. You need to be staying with the beacon. The beacon in what is a very nice 1970s styly jersey here. Russ at the Bear Downing riding on that very nice Dogma. And keeping it rolling. Got a set of discs into today, so Russ knows just how fast this is. Russ was on a recon earlier on in the day. He had a little roll around with Jimmy Allen, so good to see he's doing his homework in between. Let's take a little bit of a run back. It looks like Elliot Smales just a little bit further back. Ellis back here. Sam Emsley, Adi Dench, Liam Callaway, Mark Thwaites is in here. Andy Manier's in here as well. Very fast rider. Looks like Joel Davis, Rick Vandergate, Jimmy Allen, Hammond's in here. Looks like Ailey Gilbert's joined us. Ailey, of course, was out and riding on the women's chain gang. We're just in with Mark Thwaites, brother of Scott. Slightly bigger brother. There was a great picture from the Endura days, and it's brilliant because Mark's just... he's about a head taller, to be honest. So remember, guys, the only people that matter is the people from the yellow beacon back. If you are a Muppet group off the front, stop being a Muppet, bite your legs off, and get yourselves back. They can't help it. It's insecurities. They probably drive a car with a big bore exhaust, trying to compensate for something. So taking a little bit of a look back, looks like James is in here, John Finney, Ted's in this group, looks like Mills in here as well. We're just going to drop back a little bit because it looks like Craig Genther's not all that far behind. The red beacon working hard here. We can see up on the screens the people in front moving well, and looks like Craig Genther's already gathering a bit of a pack here. So this is going to be a pretty fast moving red beacon group, and Foxy at the moment just having to push to get back onto the wheels. So Andy Caldwell joining the party bus, Foxy in here as well. It looks like Emma Payne, Tim Cooper, Sir Rodney is in as well, Rich Orrell in this group, and this is a very nice moving group. Look at this. This is what the red beacon is all about. It's what the Donny Chain Gang is all about. It's not just about the guys at the front that come to the finish. It's also about those people who are working well at the back and working as a group. The aim is to join a gang and to roll around looking after everybody. We can see as the riders are making their way up. Our rider's just about to come over the top of the crest. We're going to jump in with Webb, because Webb could well be the next rider who is likely to see the party bus behind coming. It's 80s tunes tonight for Emma. We'll see just how they're rolling. Meanwhile, the yellow beacon putting in a nice pace. According to Ted, he should know. Ted, of course, a rider who we know can lead rides in his own right. Plenty of experience taking out the Zwift Academy rides as well. So Webb here working on this climb. I'm going to see, I think, Scotland just behind. We're going to get a double check as the guys work their way up the climb here. We're going to take that left hand turn in a minute. I think it's going to be Hewitt who's just in front. Just going to have a double check, make sure we've got nobody tucked around the bend. So just in with the back of this group at the moment, and this is the group that are just being distanced a little bit by the pace on the front, if I'm not much mistaken. John Wild in here now. John is one of those riders who we know is going to be right on the climb. Very interesting to see that Frankie Hall, the professional rider from the Drops, the women were so much better behaved. Definitely true. So it looks like the Cycling Academy lads are back to Russ. The boss has spoken, and that is Jimmy Mack, former national champion, and ordering his troops back to the yellow beacon. And we're just in with Finney here as we drop onto the cobbles. It's incredibly noisy in my headphones. I don't know what it's like on the broadcast because I think it's blowing it off the top of the audio. So here we go in towards Italian Villas. You can just see that yellow beacon just up in front, and we're back on the tarmac. Thank goodness for that. So here we go. The guys that are working their way up towards the group. As you can see that yellow beacon just in front, just in with Finney. We're into the green sprint here. So we're going to be taking a left-hand turn here. Now, one of the new roads on Zwift is the right-hand turn that's coming up immediately after the left. So let's have a little bit of a look. So keeping our eye around the corner, and underneath the sprint arch we go, and that then takes you in underneath the bridge. The right hand turn just taken off there, and Finney at the moment from the Stellaton has got Ted behind, and you just see Ted leading a little group of about 4 riders. So Ted here looking good, and Ted has 3 riders with him. It looks like Barber setting a new PR, so let's just drop in with Barber. As you can tell, our rider's just going up over the bridge, and in with Barber going up onto the climb. So as you come over the bridge, a slight drop, and as you can see up onto this climb, looks like Darren Billings working his way back towards that front group. Miss Cookie's in this group here. Looks like Barbara in the brown camo jersey. Hewitt coming through as well. Ted's in there Miss Cookie Barber, who else is in here? Darren Topless, not too far in front, so down just a little bit up the road on this climb as these riders make their way up in towards the S's. The next section is a real roller coaster of a ride, and at the moment Darren Billings just coming up to the top of the crest. We'll follow him through as he heads up towards the yellow beacon as we come around to complete lap number 1. So as you can see, Darren just coming around the top of the turn away from the section of estuary that cuts through between the two islands. Darren with Darren Topless on his wheels, and we're going to jump in on the camera. Let's take a little bit of a look from Darren Billings' viewpoint at the moment as these two come up and down. Really busy through here. Very difficult to ride this without getting dizzy as you come through here. We're just currently doing 37 kilometers an hour. The guy's up and over the bump, dropping back down again. He's really fast through here. You got to watch out for the wildlife as well. If Slowmas was on here, we'd be telling to watch out for the deer. And these riders coming through, so it looks like the guys are riding nice and strongly on the way down here. Billings and Topless keeping that pace nice and high behind. Genth and the red beacon just coming up towards the top of the climb, and Billings just coming up onto the front, and you can just see this group chasing hard. The yellow beacon in front, you can see that pillar of yellow just coming across the screens. It's a few ups and downs to go yet, and we're going to just jump back a little bit at the moment, and we're going to get a bit of a view with our drone cam as these two riders continue to push on, chasing our riders in front. Meanwhile, we're going to work our way up, and we're going to see if we can get hold of David Hopkinson is my target. Let's see if we can grab him as he comes around the right hand turn. David, one of our regular riders on the chain gang. Good to have you with us again, David. And David in the pack, and going to be dropping down now. It looks like the main group already starting to shed riders just in front, so we're going to take a little bit of a jump up the road, and there are riders after rider at the moment being distanced on the way through. Dan Coleman in this pack just trying to work his way back in. So the guys are up on the S's in the red beacon group. This is the tail end of the yellow beacon group. It is really strung out already. Looks like the Muppets on the front doing a bit of damage to everybody else's ride. Thanks, guys. What a bunch. I'm going to get the Muppets YouTube to play in the background one of these days. Either that or just name or shame them, and they'll never get sponsored by anybody again. Very easily done. Just see the riders at the back and all starting to blob up towards Russ at the moment, and just dropping in with Dan Coleman, a man who we know is going to be more than capable of being up at the front. Looks like Topping is in here as well. Topping, another of our very fast riders. Johnny Two Dogs is in. Johnny, another regular rider in the chain gang, the master artist with a spray brush or with an airbrush, and doing the business, doing plenty of resprays. Good to see so many of our riders from last night making their way in here as well. Looks like Phil Jones is in here. So Road Phil in the group. I think Finn Mansfield joining us tonight, and Finn is in here. Remember, the front of the ride as far as we're concerned is, as Russ says, the yellow beacon group. Nice big pack here who are riding along all together. Ben from Bellevue is in here. Ian Taylor from 1080. Looks like Joe Jarvis in this group. Sean Wallace. Ferron's in here. Let's take a little bit of a look though. We're in with the boss. We're in with Dean. We have two bosses tonight. We've got Emma, the boss of the women's ride, and we've got Dean, the boss of the Downing Cycling coaching. And Dean is in here. Nice hair, mate. Is that your lockdown down haircut? Looking good. So Dean in here, and 137 beats per minute, 138 for Dean at the moment, and sitting in the pack and doing what he does best, holding in with that group as we drop down into the tunnels. We're going to work our way back from the group here, and just jumping in with Gareth and Mason, who is on his way back down. And then the guys here, Jones, looks like Russ in this group just at the front. Everybody massing around Russ, which is what we want to see. If it's difficult for me to work their way back, this is what we're looking for. As Chris Asseltine James says, keep it fun, 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 fun. That's what we're after. So don't forget, of course, we have lots more rides coming up. We have just introduced 4 more women-only Donny Chain Gang. They're going to be on the 2nd and 4th weeks in February and in March. So that's the 10th and the 24th of both February and March, or women's only chain gang. So guys, don't click on the Wednesdays when you go on to join a ride. Don't forget, if you're part of the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, the DCG gang, then don't forget, of course, that is going to be sending you all of the links. You don't need to join each ride individually. We send you all of the links, and that makes it a lot easier for you to get in to the ride. Don't forget, of course, we also send out discount codes to some of our key supporters. Pretty Gritty, of course, with a big discount code in there, 20% off all the Pretty Gritty sustainable cycling clothing. We have the discount code 10% off the packets of 2 or more products from Ben over at the Grand Tour Coffee Company, the coffee that keeps Russ, myself, Dean, and loads of our cyclists all fueled up. Looks like John Wild holding around the yellow beacon. Let's take another look. Let's see who else is in this group. It looks like Richie Province in here. Frankie Hall in. Good to see Frankie back. The drops rider, more than comfortable at this pace. I'm sure Frankie put in a great ride, riding it on the women only chain gang. We've got to say a massive thank you to all of the drops team and all the professional riders who supported the women's chain gang again last night. If you've not seen it, you need to go watch it back on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. We've got lots of great promotions coming up for the members of the DCG gang, and of course lots more women only Donny Chain Gangs coming up as well. Same format as the Open Chain Gang as well, and looks like the guys out on the Chain Gang looking good at the moment. Jimmy Mack keeping an eye on his charges in the Cycling Academy, and saw about 3 if not 4 of the riders there joining the ride tonight. And remember, of course, it's all about being in the gang, making sure that you ride with everybody. The aim is to look after each other for as long as possible. So looks like at the moment the word has gone out that you can lift the pace if you're in the yellow beacon group, because this is where we're going to start to see things get a little bit spicy. So the riders at the moment have been told they can lift it to 3. That is not 4, it's not 3.5, it's not even 3.1, it's 3.0 watts per kilo, guys. 3.0. So just jumping in with Andy Wolf, a man with a sea view at the moment, and our thoughts are with all the guys we know who are out and about close to some of the flooding. I know the Matlock Valley definitely subject to a lot of flooding at the moment, and we are thinking about you. I know plenty of people, if they need help, can call on the guys on the Facebook pages of the Donny Chain Gang. Lots of officer support for Andy Bishop, whose birthday was marred by the fact that problems at home and of course problems with potential flooding, but made up for it hopefully with being on the chain gang. So Keith Richardson getting a great maths lesson from me. That's as good as it gets, mate. So if it's 3 on the front, you should be able to ride at 2.5 in the blob, as Alan Parsons says, and he's dead right. That's exactly what we're looking for. Let's take a look at how our riders are going at the moment. In with Toyne from the Army Cycling. It looks like Berry is in here, coming in from Ireland. This is where things are getting to get interesting, because this is the group at the back that are just starting to feel the pressure. Looks like Neil Fryer in here for the Bolsover and District, just holding on at the back of the package on Garbutt. in here. Looks like Steve Hilbert in this group. We're just going to see where Potter is, because this is the area where the riders are going to start to feel the pace. It looks like Scott Waits just sitting at the back of this group at the moment. He's not expending too much energy. Jones in here, Rob Scott's in here. Everybody just rolling around in with Fryer now, and Fryer just trying to push himself back up to the yellow beacon. Remember, if you're behind the yellow beacon, you can push on to get closer to it, but please guys, if you're on the front, 3 watts per kilo on the front, you should be able to do 2.5 in the group comfortably. Famous last words from the commentator there. So just in with Glyn, it looks like Carl Johnson in here, Alistair Coetzee from Chef Wrecking in this group as well. Looks like Carl Johnson actually having a change of kit. Carl, he was always wearing the kit, or for a long time wearing the kit that Russ has got on tonight. That's the Fluo 3 kit. And Carl continuing to push as we come in to the climb here. We've gradually dragged up from the ocean all the way up in towards this, the long climb up towards the Italian villas. So let's take a little bit of a look. You can see these riders at the back really are having to work hard here, trying to keep the pressure on, trying to close the gap down. We're just in with Evans at the moment. So Evans riding well here, and just going to try and get a view of him coming through. Jumps as our riders come and zigzagging across. It's just keeping the commentary computers working hard here. In with Evans, still riding up here, looking good at the moment on the chain gang. Certainly looks like he's riding well. Sat in with this group here. The yellow beacon group is where it's at, is where the move-in is. Dean is here, pushing just above the FTP. We're just going to sit in with Kennedy as we come around this corner. As we jump from map to map, we have to be a little bit careful on commentary. So Dan Hepson just let us know the junior Kern, Brussels Kern, just been cancelled, and that's bad news. It looks like he is going to be back on the DCG a little bit more. Dan, of course, signing for the VCR Den squad. Lots of our new riders in here. We're just going to take a little bit of a check. Russ just a little bit further back as these riders push up over the top. Trying to work back to Russ on this. I'm sure I've just seen Mr. Leechert come through. Dan Leechert is looking good. So Leechert, the man whose name can never be said the same in 2 shows, is smooth on his way through. He managed to last a lap and a half before Leechert makes his way through. We're going to leave Leechert to it as we work our way a little bit further down, and we're just going to drop in as the pace continues on. Most of this group looks to be pretty comfy, and Rollitt at the moment just pushing in. Rollitt, we know, has definitely got the pace to be in with this group, and just heading in towards that sprint across the cobbles we go. Looks like it's Biscuit Tips at the back. So let's go across to Craig and the gang at the back. This is the party bus that is collecting more people all the way through. So it looks like this lot have got tea and biscuits on the go at the moment. Very nice. Pink wafers apparently. Wagon wheels. Rich, send them over here, mate. Honestly, send them over. We're not allowing biscuits in our house. Do you know that? Isn't that mean? Can't imagine who would subject us to such a thing. No biscuit, no chocolates. Not even allowed Jaffa cakes. I think I might just stay with these guys. Blow the guys off the front, leave them to it. So let's have a little bit of a wander up the road whilst this lot are talking biscuits and cakes. Jaffa cake is not a cake, it's a biscuit. Final word. As we move up to Abbott, So in with Abbott at the moment, and just up on the climb on the way through, and then it's going to be Fletcher just in front of Abbott. Darren top place at the moment, no doubt waiting for that party bus at some point to head in his direction. In front of him is going to be Bennett of Sheffield Tri, so Bennett from Sheffield Tri is on the way up. Then it's going to be Barber Hopkinson just in front. Hopkinson, Reeves and Sadler look all to be together here. They're going to be taking the little left-hand turn, the little right-hand turn in through the villas. We're going to just jump up in front of them in a second as they come down past the waterfall in towards the villas here. And we're going to see who is going to be just in front. I think it's going to be Woodward, who's got a duo here with Langley. Just taking a little bit of a look. So it's Jones in here with Woodward, and they are going to be heading out on the way forward, and going to be trying to stay clear of that red beacon that's coming behind. Then it's Langley, and then it's going to be McKenna, McGuigan, and Jones. Road Phil is here. Don't forget, of course, Brother and their cycling teams are absolutely critical to the UK scene. This man has probably done more than pretty much 99.99% of the population that's involved in cycling. Phil, of course, one of the key people when it's involved in cycling, and our camera here in the studio is actually a brother camera that is getting you the images. Even manages to catch pretty much every one of my wrinkles, and that takes some doing because there's plenty of them. So Jones at the moment are just chasing McGuigan and McKenna, who are just up the road. Come on, Phil, push on time. So we go up. So McKenna, and then it's McGuigan. They're chasing Holmes. Holmes is in the fiery red jersey. Then it's going to be Beatty, Mason, Hall. So a real run of riders. You can just see them up on the screen if we zoom in and go to the flat map view. As we come around this turn here, we should be able to see them just chasing on behind. So that's a group in waiting. Just up the road is Dre. Dre has a company as well, so everybody just working the way around, and we're just seeing the back of the main group here, and quite a lot of riders have been distanced on the way in through the S's. We said it was going to take some tight control. Very, very difficult to control this as we run in. We're going to just drop in with Scott Thwaites, because I think Scott is likely to work his way back into this group if he needs to. So I think Kieran Brown just going on a flyer, heading back up towards the group. So Russ is asking if everyone's okay. I'm not so sure they're going to be, mate. He's absolutely nailed on the back of the group. If we take a little bit of a look back, we're going to jump in with Parry at the moment. So let's get up on the back. As you can see, it is a long string of riders behind. If we zoom out on the map, it is strung out behind, so there are groups forming behind the Yellow Beacon group. As you can see, lots of group on the way back. It is always the case on the rollers. It's tough. We knew it was going to be a tough night tonight. There is a reason we haven't used it till now, but it's not easy. It's a DONNYCHAINGANG. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's time to blob up if you are in front of the groups, and just seeing at the moment these riders making their way go through the line. We remember 2 laps done, that's half the distance of the DONNYCHAINGANG. We will finish down on the front in 2 laps time. So Parry trying to work up. Kieran Brown definitely on a bit of a mission. I'm just going to take a little bit of a check on Kieran's bike. Yep, on the road bike once again. And Kieran just working his way back up towards the Yellow Beacon. A nice big group here behind Russ as we take a little bit of a look back. And Kieran's got Steve James around him. I think Steve from the Hope Factory Racing in the group. Good to see him in here. Looks like Dean is still just about hanging on with the group. He's got good companies with Rob Copeland. Rob, of course, one of the riders who spent a lot of time in and on the front of the chain gang, and he's looking good. So let's have a little bit of a look. So just about getting there. So Russ, I think, has finally made it to the front. The Muppets have been caught and pulled back. They've had their moment of inglorious ignominy. Did you have some coffee before I try saying that? And the group is here, sitting on the back of Russ. This is the front 100 or so riders. There are plenty of riders behind, and just taking a little bit of a look, it looks like Thorpe is in here, Jimmy Mackey's still in here. Let's see if we can get hold of Jimmy. Just gone flying backwards, to be honest. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but it might be done today. Let's see if we can get hold of him. It's moving very, very fast in this group. Looks like Harrison Tacey still in here. Tacey, who's right up in the mix as we came up through. Ben from Bellevue's in here. John Wild is in here. Annie Simpson from OTE is in. Soddy Hall sitting in this group. Wilkinson, Darth Vader himself is in here. Mark Thwaites, Learmouth is in here. Looks like Evans sitting on the back of this group, and Canadian are going to have to push their way in to the group. So just taking a little bit of a zoom in on the drone cam. Hopefully not bursting the tunnel on the way through. Plenty of ride-ons coming down at the moment. Looks like we've got Velobant's rider with us. It looks like Woodbridge is in here as well. You can see the Velobant's squad coming in and joining us on the chain gang. So just working our way through here. Remember, this is all about keeping the pace smooth, letting it build gradually as we work our way down and in. Now Rob Scott's still in this group. Looks like Gail Phillips is here. Gail was our red beacon, and when we were on the women's chain gang, is of course the woman who is in charge of all of the red beacons. She is the one who coordinates it. So please, guys, make sure if you want to go being red beacon, please do volunteer. Absolutely critical that we have those red beacons, and they're all volunteers who do it. It's just taking a little bit of a run back through this group. There is a huge group behind that is really busy behind, so we're just dropping back to our red beacon group, and it looks like even the red beacon group is splintered a little bit as it comes up over the top. So Foxy, Emma in here. Looks like West is the only rider who is distance, and I suspect they, to be honest, are in front on a different section of course. So just in with Craig Ganther, the guys here working hard. Looks like Ted's in deep trouble because his gin cabinet is empty, but this group is fracturing on its way through. It's Darren Topless, Tim Cooper, Webb, Caldwell, Rodney in here. So let's see who's going to be the first rider that's likely to see them. I think it's going to be Fletcher. So Fletcher just up the road in the GCN kit. Just see that red beacon going to be coming behind. Then it's going to be Barber just coming down towards the line. This is the finish line. So half race a ride distance for Barber. We're going to take a little bit of a look. Abbott just on the other side. Looks like Miss Cookie is in a small group here. And this is going to be Cookie, Finney, Ted's in here. Looks like Billings in here as well. So these riders working very smoothly. David Hopkins is a little bit further up the road with Reeves at the minute. So just riding in with the gang here. Just going to take this left-hand turn. I think Bennett from Sheffield tried just taking that turning. We're just going to let them get round the corner before we try jumping about. So Finney just rolling onto the wheels of Bennett just up the road in the black. Then Sadler in with the group here with Hopkinson and Rees. So this is our next group on the way up. And then it's going to be Jones. It's going to be the two Joneses. In fact, it's the man with the SAS on his back and Phil Jones sandwiched in between him and Langley. Then it's going to be McKenna, then McGuigan and Holmes. These are our three riders all together. Looks like Beatty just up the road. He's going to see those three coming behind him. I'm just watching Beatty at the moment. Then it's going to be Hall and Mason. So just going to jump in with Hall first of all, and Hall at the moment got Mason just in front here, so Hall just closing in on the wheels of Mason, and if they work together again, there's a lot more speed being in a duo than there is on your own. Looks like Hall up here on the climb, and then it's going to be Taylor just in front, so Taylor just sitting on the back of this little group here, and they're going to come back together again, just being distance to come over the top. So Dyson, Dre in here as well. We're going to try and jump a little bit further up the road to Crichton and Hammond. Another big group here, so Crichton, It's going to be Junior Persona G, Leary, Hammond in here as well. Robinson, Joe Jarvis in here. Addy Birdsall's in here. So it looks like these guys are going to need to pull it back together again, and if they work as a group, they're going to be able to soon pull that speed up, maximise the fact you've got a group together. This is a nice group here, another 3, 6, 8 riders. Joe Jarvis in here, another of our really regular riders on the Donny Chain Gang. Good to see Joe mixing it up in this group. Just a little bit further ahead, a trio of riders 14 seconds up the road. Martin Bolt, our perpetual red beacon in the early days, on his all the way up the climb, and it looks like Johnson and more in there. Just ahead is Anderson. So just going to take a little bit of a check, and we're just coming up towards the climb. We're going to drop across with Martin at the moment, and we're going to see if we can get in with Stefano Borelli. Borelli nicely in this group, and just up the road here, and I think that's going to be a level 25 jersey for Stefano. Nicely done. And he is rolling in with Hurt and Scotland at the moment. They've got Kev and Berry both in front, and just working our way up through this group. Then it's going to be Fryer, and Fryer's going to try and get back onto the west. We're going to have to try and make our way up to the front. So Beresford in this next group. The go has gone. The yellow beacon up the road. We're going to try and get there as fast as we can. A little bit of a sneaky cut across there, just to jump in with Annie Simpson of OTE, and you can see at the moment he is absolutely grim. He's put the hammer down on the climb, and that is mean bear. Who poked the bear all the way through the start of this? That is just nasty. So just in with Finn Donahue, one of our regular beacons, and just watching these riders. There's a bit of a panic back here. People weren't expecting it to go. I think Finn Mansfield's been caught out here. So Finn Mansfield trying to work his way up at 5.3 watts per kilo. These guys are really going to need to hammer it. The yellow beacon is just up the road, but you cannot let any gaps go. And at the moment, Finn Mansfield, the rider in that Zeb Peugeot inspired jersey, just working his way through this group. We're just going to sit in with him. He's got Rob Scott working hard in front of him. Only a couple of seconds up the road, and Rob Scott pushing his way up in the Canyon jersey. You can just see Mansfield in the Zeb Peugeot going alongside Scott here. And the riders really do need to work their way along. Mansfield at the side of the waterfalls here, and just trying to get himself in with the group. We're going to go up in the air with the helicopter to come into this section. This is where it's going to be very quick. I think we're going to see some very quick times through the sprint. Fastest sprint time at the moment in the men is a 20.86. So 20.86 in the men, and the first ride across the line, Charlotte Colclough, a 27.86 in the women, and I think Colclough taking the women's ride by about 2 or 3 millimeters of tyres width as they came in and through. Now Mansfield still working his way up here. We're just in with Frankie Hall at the moment, just dropping across from our riders, and looks like all these riders around the bus, around the bear here, working hard. Mansfield making his way right up to the front, and he should, I think, have got close to that green jersey's time. But look at this, Frankie Hall at the moment from the drops team at 21.53. So time of Colclough, she's taking nearly 2 seconds off the top there. So let's take a little bit of a look here. So Frankie Hall doing a superb time. So Frankie Hall right in here. So Mr. Clark getting busted. I hope you did that from the back to the front, not the front out and away. Mr. Clark, you know the rules. If you're going to do the sprint, try and sprint from the back. Frankie Hall doing exactly that, doing a great ride. And Hall from the drops, team reinforcing why the Premier women's teams join us on the Donny Chain Gang week in, week out. Super fast times, plenty of PRs and plenty of power now. Alongside Colclough at the moment, and Colclough and Hall sitting very close together here on the roller coasters. Let's just drop in with Frankie at the moment. This is Frankie's view, and we're going to go take a little bit of a Hall view as we come in and through here. It is certainly looking like a Hall just sitting at the back of a little bit of a group here. And we're just going to drop up in the air because you can just see the gaps have opened up behind. This is the leading group at the moment. Hall in here, Dan Coleman, so Grindley in here, Biggins in here, Russon in this group, Scott Waits has made the group. Just taking a little bit of a look to see who isn't in here, because this is the absolutely critical spot. This is where you want to be. Ed Bowler, you're just about making it in here. Russ, of course, in here. Looks like Atherton from the Cycling Academy has made it in. The boss is going to be pleased. Elliot Smales in here as well. Andy Manier's in here. Scott Easter, Dan Hepton. And I think it's going to be Thwaites who's going to be leading them down here. We'll take a little bit of a run up through this group. So just jumping in with Biggins at the moment. Mason doing his perpetual sitting around the fast wheels here. So it looks like Thwaites is in here. Joe Walker slipping along underneath the radar as usual. Dowtry in this group. Kieran Brown in this group. McNamara's in here. The Peter Pan of cycling. We call him a youngster. He did tell me how many years he's been racing, but he's younger than me, so you always will be a youngster, Simon, it has to be said. Right, here we go. Going to be one more lap to go at the moment. Kieran Brown leading this big group underneath the banner. And it is one more lap to go here on the Donny Chain Gang. The guys are pushing on here. Big group of riders, some very fast riders in here. Don't discount Charlotte Colclough. She's got a superb sprint, as has Frankie Hall. But the big, powerful sprinters like Mason can pack 400 watts as an FTP and can put out 2,000 watts. Has the advantage on a flat or downhill sprint, and that's exactly what we've got. So it's going to have to be some smart riding by our lighter riders, our rulers in the group, to try and stretch this out as Scott Thwaites goes up onto the front. Chris Hilbert now moving through. So just going to jump in with Chris Hilbert. Thistle working well here in this group, and certainly looks to me like he's going to get himself in there. Just keeping a little eye on Rob Copeland. He's riding about sixth wheel. Looks like George Radcliffe is here. He's been a little bit quiet of late. He's a rider who for a long time held the most aggressive rider in the Donny Chain Gang. Wants to go. But you know what? I think that's been taken by Harrison Tacey at the moment, and I think Harrison Tacey, for me, takes the current combative prize of wants to go. Hits Tacey never on the front, never riding off the front until the go, but then known for plenty of aggressive moves. But we will see. Let's see who is in here. Let's see if everybody can get themselves up to the front. They've got to be on the wheels here. Watch the speed increase. We're now on the descent here. If we move alongside, you can just see that gradient is -3%, 60k an hour as we clock our way off that ramp and onto the flat once again. McNamara up at the front. So these guys are looking good. It's very, very smooth here, and it is a big pack to be holding at one lap to go. Can they hold it all together? They've got a long way. Remember, it's a 10.3k lap. These riders are looking good at the moment. Finley Priest in here, down Hepton, so Grindley, Atherton in the group. Ben from VeloViewer, our fantastic graphics supplier here, who look after us with all of the profiles, all the stats and all the details. A must-go-to site. I should be home page, and don't forget, if you haven't got Pro subscription, it's well worth doing so. And that, along with, of course, a membership of the DCG gang. Key ways to look after the people who look after the chain gang. And of course, please remember, guys, if you don't want to join for a month or join for a year, we rely on your donations to keep the show on the road. Not just the YouTube show and the live coverage, but also the Facebook page that has over 2,000 members that we need to look after. It also means that we're looking after the subs, that we're making sure that you've got the YouTube, making sure that the ride runs, making sure that we're checking out everything. Being there basically is what seems to be a permanent Wi-Fi helpline for people as well. As watching Mr. Thwaites roll his way along here, looks like McNamara going back on the front. Scott East yet again in here, working well. Need to pace myself. Nearly run out of Grand Tub coffee. Well, down here anyway in the studio. So Thwaites surfing the wheels, not doing too much on the front, just showing his face, showing he's still about. Elliot Smills rolling in nicely. Radcliffe is in here. Manier in here as well. Looks like Andy Thornley in here. Richardson. Just keeping an eye on this group. Certainly working pretty smooth through here. Just in with Johnson at the moment. As Johnson got the beans to stay with them as they come up onto the climb. This is where the lighter riders have a chance to put some pressure on the riders behind. If you're a lightweight rider, now is the time to push. Every one of these rises is going to make a difference. It looks like Russ has really nailed it on his way up the climb, and that has strung it out. Look at the damage that's been done here. It's started to split. Have they managed to shell anybody? Everyone has been trying to nail that little bit of a climb to break it up a bit. Little group going off the front there, and I think our Beacon is in there as well. So let's work our way right up towards the very front here. Looks like Gareth Mason in this front group, but just doing a little bit of a pull as that group comes back together. One rider who's been very quiet in here is Joey Walker. Now, Joey, of course, very experienced on the DONNYCHAINGANG. Great to have him on board yet again. And of course, a national crit champ as well, and certainly looking very, very good. Not doing any work that he doesn't need to. Why show your nose out the front until you really need to do so? So this is it, the leading pack now coming off over the bridge. This is the penultimate bridge. It's the last wooden bridge, and this group looking good as they keep on heading out. You can just see Joey Walker with the flat cap on in the black kit, moving his way down the right hand side there. This group looking good as they keep moving up on to the climb here. So at the moment, Jimmy Mack still in here. Just watching Joey Walker come through this group. He's looking very, very smooth. There's one or two people just feeling the pace at the back, and this is where you've got to be on the wheels. Look at that, 4 or 5 riders now being distanced from the back as this pack continues to push onwards. So let's get up in the air. You can see the riders just starting to be distanced behind. We're just over the concrete bridge, and looks like a group of 4 riders detached from the back of the main group. Let's take a little bit of a check on who's just gone off the back, and it looks like Ben from Bellevue is in one the back. He's gone off the back. Ben, what's going on, mate? It's not like you. Don't tell me you didn't do the homework. He's going to get caught here. So it looks like Roberts, James, Potter coming through. Just going to collect him on the way through, and Roberts as well. So these riders now need to work together if they've got a chance to try and pull back at that group in front, the back of that main group. It's Russon who's on the back of the group here. Now remember, this is on the climb here. You've got to be in it to win it, and at the moment this is a superbly quick group on the way up here. I think Joey Walker is the rider who's just stretching it out on the front. We're just going to take a little bit of a look up the road. It is Joey Walker. So Walker it is. Almost literally looked up the road, and a crit. Look at this, Joey Walker putting the pressure on. Matt Taylor from Cycling Sheffield trying to close the gap down here, and it is going to be Matt Taylor in a green jersey. He's always wanted to wear one. Apparently he grew up with green pyjamas, so I'm told by his parents. It is the man from Cycling Sheffield making his way round, and that team continuing onwards this year. Great to see the gang being de-essed, of course, by Dave Coulson, and Matt Taylor clearly thriving in that company now. Let's take a little bit of a look. That dig there by Walker has stretched it right out, and at the back the gaps have gone. The riders are wanting to push on into this group at the moment. It looks to me like it's Radcliffe who's just starting to stretch the front of the group out, but not doing too much damage. Just taking a little bit of a look back. It looks like Jimmy Allen's still in here as well. Kieran Smith in this group. Stables in here. Tacey in here. I'm just going to try and take a little bit of a look back. It's not going to split too much on this descent, so we're going to try and see who it is, who is being distanced. Look at the back of this group. And it looks like Scott Easter has let a little bit of a gap go. He's got to close that down. Easter has got to keep pulling. Skelton's done the same, and Easter knows that he's in trouble. You can see the gap going. You can see that these riders are frantic in their efforts to get back on the wheels once the group goes so hard to get back in. This is running in towards the sprints. Finley, Priest being distanced. Davis, Johnson. Looks like Peter and Russon all being distanced. So it looks like Colclough has gone as well. Yeah, looks like Colclough just going off the back of that group. That's very surprising at this stage in the game. So Colclough, the winner of the women's ride yesterday, maybe feeling the pressure. Remember, of course, that some of these riders having to do 2 days in a row. And looks like Finn Mansfield with company a little bit further back. Russon, then Thornley, Colclough, Priest. Looks like Skelton just being distanced here. Easter and Locke are not going to get back on now. Sawyer on the back of this group, and it looks like Russ Downing, the bear himself, is on the back of this pack. But this is it. This is our leaders now. Big kick up the hill. This is the last big climb as we come in towards the finish. And this is where the guys really do know they've got to put the pressure on. Who is going to be the rider who's attacking hardest on the way up here? We're just going to jump in with Elliot Smales, who's right up by the front here. And Smales has to respond to the moves. It's Richardson who's stretching it out now. So Richardson's gone hard here. And they're all trying to respond. Question is who can pull that gap back. It looks like Thorpe working hard. Joey Walker has moved himself near enough to the front. He's gone as far as he wants to be at the moment. It's Radcliffe, Mr. Aggressive himself now, who's up around that front section. Matt Gilmore in here as well, but it's Richardson and Taylor on the offensive once again, but they've not split that group up far enough. Look how many are left though. There's a trail of debris. There are riders littered behind. You can see them all the way across. They're worse than gel wrappers on a Sportive at the moment, as those riders are distanced and they are discarded like just used and spent force. These riders though are working to keep it together, and we're just keeping an eye on these riders that come in. Who is your money going to be on the way down here? We've got to pick riders who has got the pace to take this out at the moment. There's been another attack on the front, and I think it is going to be Scott Thwaites who's gone for this. We're going to just try and drop back in with Thwaites here. So Scott Thwaites has gone hard. He's gone early. Is he going to be able to take this out? He's on the junction. He's got the gap. Apologies, we're just trying to get across there as fast as we can. And it is Scott Thwaites here who's got a 3-second gap. Seb Grindley, the youngsters, trying to close him down at the moment. This is going to be close. Can Thwaites hold them off? And Russ Downing is now on the chase here. So Downing is closing down on Thwaites. What's Scott done to upset the bear? Well, here comes the bear. The bear is closing down, and Thwaites is a spent force here. And Russ Downing has gone in hard. He's got in early. Can the bear take this home? He's got the distance. Come on, Russ! Oh, can he do this? It's going to be close, but they're coming too quickly here. Ellen coming over the top. Harris and Tacey coming fast. It's going to be between these two riders here. Ellen at the moment on the front, but Tacey comes to the fore. Is it Tacey's day? Is the aggression paying off? It does! He gets it. It's Tacey from Ellen, from Walker, Gilmore, Radcliffe, Richardson, Atherton, Jones, Wild. What a group! And Tacey takes it. A reward for all of his hard work over the last few weeks. He has been absolutely nailing it, and it's paid off on the way through now. Frankie Hall on the way through. I think Frankie's going to be our first female rider in with that group almost all the way into the end. Frankie Hall does it for the drops team. Good riding by Frankie once again, just coming in on the way through. We're just going to try and drop back to try and pick up the next riders coming into the finish. Always tricky to get them at the right time. So next in is Locke, who comes in ahead of Easter. Then it's going to be Scott, followed by Skelton. And then Davis and Johnson come through. So Frankie Hall taking it for the women, and Harrison taking it for the men now. Big sprint here coming, and I think this is coming from Finley Priest here. Priest trying to close down Johnson. It's going to be close here. Is he going to do it? Oh, so close, not quite. Nearly got him on the line there. Now Russon leading out these three, and they include our second woman here, and it is going to be Colclough who's going to come across to take the second woman across the line, holding off the guys behind as well as everybody comes in and charging down towards the line. Ben from Bellevue through, topping and just leading this little group as Phil Ozike, the winner of our Oakley August. Nails it on the way in here. Has he got enough? It's a long train, and these riders coming through one after another. So Mansfield coming in and through. You can see just how fast this pack is moving. Next group coming in, and we are literally going to have to jump back very quickly between each of these groups. Apologies if we don't get you. We knew this finish was going to be quick. You can see just how fast this pack is on its way in towards the finish. We're going to just move up with TM at the minute, and TM just holding it off Dawes. Dawes is coming quick though, and Dawes could well take this as they come in. Oh, it's very close. So TM then Dawes, and it's going to be Hope Factory Racing's Steve James. Oliver coming through just in ahead of Doubtry. Doubtry holds off the pack behind. Then it's going to be Ambler Morn coming through. Very, very quick indeed. And you can just see absolutely everybody come through. Just seen Rashid come through. Ian Brooks come through. And just going to try and drop back fast enough here. Stone on his way into the finish. Aaron Stone and Richardson Drake leading home a huge pack here. And these groups are all over the road. Looks like Chris Martin, Killingsworth coming through. Rick Van der Gate keeping that little group with Mike Killingsworth and Johnny Two Dogs. Chris from the Alliance MTB squad comes through. Just dropping back to our next group, getting up in the air. Brown, I think, is going to be able to take this, but just being bested on the way through there. And Scubala hasn't lost this, neither has the guys from Sherwood Pines. It looks like James McLeod coming through there. Clark in with this next group as Pritchard sprints in and through the finish. Then it's going to be this our next group, the 300 meters to go. Absolutely frantic as we come into the finish. It is group after group on the road as these riders come in. And just watching Smith now winding it up. Is Smith going to be able to take this? 9.1 watts per kilo. Who got it at the right time. Timed it absolutely spot on. And we're going to just drop back a little bit more. We're going to go in with Dean. Is Dean going to take this sprint? It's going to be tight. It looks like Andy Hall's out sprinting. Dean on the way through there. Sonia Inslee coming through with that group. And it looks like Gagan coming in that group. Hilbert in there as well. And very fast group as they came in through the finish. We've got to try and drop back as fast as we can here to get back to the riders who are just coming into the finish. Apologies if you are making your way in through the finish. We're coming back as fast as we can, believe me. We might have to do a bit of a serious drop back here in a second and just try and get back with the red beacon and work our way back up towards the front and once again. Easier said than done, as we're out on course, as our riders are scattered all the way out and around the circuit. You can see just how frantic it has been out on course. We're going to have to just follow these guys through the right hand turn. So here we go, we're going to take that right hand turn, and that's just going to release us a few more riders on the run into the finish. Here we go. So just in next pack, sprinting in, and Ferron working hard here. It looks like the guys are coming in through. Phillips Collier in that big sprint in there. Alan Parsons, Hayward coming in that pack. Just dropping back once again. We're just trying to get back to the riders who are working the way in and through. And easier said than done, it has to be said, with this course. These drops in and across, so you get an idea where everybody is. So we work our way back up towards the very front of the course once again. Key here is pick yourself out if you're on the run into the finish. We're just going to take a little bit of a look up on the map. I think this is indeed our next group coming into the finish. So just in with the riders, they come into the finish once again. So great group here. And just watching them wind it up. Looks like Llewellyn and West are going to be fighting it out for the win here. And Llewellyn goes in front. So Llewellyn leading in the light blue. West is going to come through just behind. Then it's going to be Beresford in the black. Russell in the orange. And then NRPR come through behind. Then Andy Wolf, next rider. The Matlock rider coming into the finish here. Just ahead of Kennedy. Kennedy at 6 seconds behind at the moment. So Kennedy, the next of our riders, coming into the finish. And Kennedy going to come through in front of Ellis and Wilkinson. They're going to be our next two riders through. We're going to drop back to them. And it's a group of three here. So Fryer winding it up here. And it's Fryer who's got onto the front. We're going to go in with Fryer if we can. But I think it's going to be Fryer who's going to take this. He's in the lead as they come through. Wilkinson trying to respond to this. Ellis behind. But Fryer from Bolsover and District going to be our next sprint winner as they come in underneath the gantry. Through they come. We're going to drop back now to Clark. Clark on the descent here with a gap to Scotland, Rumble, Borelli, Taylor, Johnson and her. So a big pack chasing behind. In fact, you can just see them in the distance here. If we take that drone camera just up in the air a little bit, we should be able to see them coming just behind. So Clark at the moment dropping down, being chased by Taylor, Her, Johnson, Rumble, Berry, Borelli, Scotland, all in that pack behind. They're all working to close that gap down. Let's jump in with Taylor at the moment, the youngster in this pack here, trying to close down the rider in front. You can just see at the moment Clark is going to get in through the line as our next finisher. Who's going to have the power out of this group? Already seeing the wind-up coming. Taylor already now kicking out now. He's going to put out good watts per kilo because he's a youngster. Only a young rider. But Her is coming down. Carl Johnson's got a big kick on him. Johnson could get this. Johnson's gone just in front here. Has Johnson got his timing right? He could get Clark. So it's Clark just comes through. Then it's Johnson comes through. Her, Taylor, Rumble, Borelli, Berry, Scotland come through. Great fast sprint from them. Next group on the way in towards the line is going to be this one. This contains Dre, Persona, G, Crichton's in here, I think, as well. Let's take a look. Joe Jarvis in here. So let's take a quick check from these riders. The sprint just starting to wind its way up at the moment. Crichton has got enough to close down on the rider in front. Going to be close here. Oh, it's going to be tight, and not quite that time as they come through. It is Crichton comes over the top of Espejo. So Espejo takes that, then Crichton, Dre, Jarvis, Doc Jr., Hammond and Co come through. We're just dropping back across, or we may have to do a little bit of a sneaky move to get ourselves up with the riders where we want to be. So we're going to look where Holmes is coming in towards the finish. There is a group just in front, and I suspect it's going to be the Dyson group. It is, so apologies guys. So in from 1080 coming through. Martin Bolt about 10 seconds in front. So that was Bolt, then Leary, Taylor and Dyson coming through. The chase behind then is going to be coming hard. We're just going to try and catch back to those riders. A little bit tricky at the moment because it is so busy out on course. So let's jump up with McWigan, and there is at least one rider between him and the finish, and that is going to be Holmes. So just going to drop in with Holmes at the moment. And looking at the map, I think Holmes is our next rider, likely to come in to the finish here. So Holmes and McWigan looks like they are just clear of Andy Birtle, and then it's going to be McKenna, Hall, Jones, Abbott and Hopkinson behind. So Holmes on that descent. I suspect it's going to be a little bit of a gap back behind. You can just see the chasers just coming around the turn. So as Holmes makes his way down in towards the finish, don't forget, of course, guys, if you want all the links direct to your inbox, make sure you join the DCG gang. the DONNYCHAINGANG Supporters Club. That is how we can reward you for helping us. Remember, your donations are what keep the show on the road, the virtual road when it comes to the ride, and of course the YouTube channel, the Facebook as well, all free to join. But we do ask, if you've got a few quid spare, stick us a donation in. It helps us keep everything running smoothly. Replace a burnt out bits kit as we trash PC after PC on the way through if we're not careful. As we see Holmes now on his way towards the line. So Steve Holmes is going to be the next of our finishers here on the DONNYCHAINGANG live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. And Holmes now in that final stretch in. Underneath the gantry goes Holmes. Behind him it's going to be McGuigan, who is our next rider, I think. But I think Birdsall's got him just about on the line there. So it looks like McGuigan getting rolled there. And Birdsall putting in a sprint just to make sure. So Andy Birdsall finishes it off. Then it's going to be McGuigan coming through, followed by Abbott and Hopkinson just leading at home. Bennett and Jones. Then it's going to be McKenna, Phil Jones, Hall, Beatty just on the back there. So it looks like Hall just at the back of that group. Then it's going to be Beatty, who's just on the descent. If we take a little bit of a look back, we're just looking for riders behind Beatty. I think it's going to be Langley, Finney at 19 seconds. The duo chasing them. Billings, Cookie and Ted, a trio behind. So one rider clear now. That is Beatty. Then two riders, Langley and Co are coming behind. So Langley and Finney, two riders, and then three riders, Billings, Ted and Cookie behind, then Reeves and a few others. But so now next rider in should be Beatty, and Richard Beatty looking pretty smooth down here. I think he's going to have this nailed, barring any kind of technical issue. Remember, if you do have issues with dropouts, if you have issues with the tech, make sure you go onto the Facebook page. The group there really good at helping out. So many threads that tell you exactly how to make sure you've maximised your Zwifting experience. So we've got to say a massive thank you to everybody at Zwift for this fantastic platform that we keep on using week in, week out to bring you the DONNYCHAINGANG. And remember, myself, Matt Payne, and Russ Downing, along with our leader of the women's chain gang, and that is Emma, who is currently in with the Red Beacon here, all busy all week long to bring you the chain gang here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel, live on Zwift, and of course the ride that has produced lots of great sprints. Now we're in with Finney at the moment. This is going to be incredibly tight. It's going to come to a photo finish, and I think Ted just getting that from Finney, and Billings are very, very close as they came through. We're just dropping back to Cookie coming through behind. Then Reeves just chasing on the way in towards the line. Really, really busy as they come in towards this gantry over the top. Great sprint there by Ted to take that on the way through from Finney and Billings. And I think Ted just discovering it's got bits of lace he hasn't used for a little while. Now Reese comes through. Then it's going to be this next duo of riders. We're in with Fletcher at the moment. So Rodney on the back. Come on, Rodney. Rodney putting a kick in now. We're going to jump in with Rodney has come through. We know he's one of our regular riders. He's timed this right, or has he? Because there's been a drop of an aero. What a tight sprint. That's what we want to see. Oh my goodness. Fletcher not timing it well there, but just having enough to hold off Rodney behind. Then Andy Caldwell coming through. So Caldwell just coming in behind that really close sprint. Next up is going to be Sadler. Sadler staying about 45 seconds clear of what looks to be the Red Beacon group, with a few people a little bit further back than that. Rich Orrell and Barber just being distanced, if the screens are to be believed. Remember, of course, these screens do vary a little bit. There is a reason why we have the section to the warm down to the blue banner, and that is to allow everybody to spin out, as well as to allow us to drop back and catch up with everybody on the way through here on the DONNYCHAINGANG live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with myself, Matt Payne. Just seeing Sadler come through. So Chris Sadler coming through, now being chased by the Red Beacon group. And we're going to drop across to the Red Beacon group, dropping in with Craig Genther. And Craig now are pushing on here, getting up onto the front of the group. Is he going to lead them out? Is he going to get a gap here? They're going to have to respond to this because Craig is a fast rider. You don't get those Trombites for nothing. That's at least 50,000 metres of ascent as part of the challenge. He's got it in here now. Mr. Cooper, you're meant to be taking it easy on your recovery from COVID, mate. And at the moment, it is going to be Tim Cooper is leading in this in towards the line. So much for taking it easy. He's absolutely nailing it on the way in. He's got the gap, sits up, then Craig Genther comes in behind. Then it's going to be Topless, then Webb in and through. Good riding, guys, as they come in and through. Behind them then Rich Orrell and Barber are next two riders coming down in towards the line. So apologies if we missed you on the way into the line. We do try and get everybody on the way in and through the finishing line. Not always all that easy. We're just riding in with Rich Orrell, another of our regular riders on the Donny Chain Gang. Great to see Rich in action once again, doing the business. Towing along Barber here. On the way in is Barber. We're going to roll him on the way through. Barber looking good. So Simon Barber on the wheels here for Rich Orrell. If we take a little bit of a look up the road, you can just see the gantry's about to come. We hit the 200 metre to go sign. Barber sitting on the wheel of Orrell in the green. And as they come in towards the line, Barber's just twitchy here. Has he got enough to come around the side here? Orrell just keeping that pace absolutely nailed on his way in. And I think it is going to be Orrell who's going to roll it through here. He does. So our last two riders out on circuit, coming through the finishing line there with Barber and Orrell coming in and through, and I think going to be a tick around to the blue banner. So thank you very much for watching the Donny Chain Gang here live on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel with myself, Matt Payne. Don't forget, of course, we have all of the footage from all of the rides on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and you get notified when we get the guys online. Don't forget, of course, if you've got a few quid spare, if you want to help us bring the show to you, make sure that you join the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club, the DCG gang. We've got lots of great discount codes coming up throughout the year, including Pretty Gritty, who's a fantastic t-shirt I'm wearing yet again. Yes, it is that good. I absolutely love it. Going to be spending all the money when we get some gigs in real life back on some Pretty Gritty kit. And don't forget, of course, that we've got discount codes for Grand Tour Coffee. We've got lots more great promotions coming up, and we have, if you watch to the end, we're going to reward you. We have coming up for you a fantastic week coming up. News is going to be coming 12 o'clock tomorrow. We're launching next week. It's a themed week, and we've got lots of new riders coming. We're hoping they don't struggle too much with the routes, which is a little bit of a clue on what's going to be happening. Don't forget, of course, lots of the women's race just been announced as well. We'll see you after the weekend. I'm going to go find a dark room, maybe just turn all the lights out here in the studio, and we're going to be heading your way on Tuesday and Thursday next week for some great routes with one of the key partners at Downing Cycling, and we're going to be bringing you all of that action here on the YouTube channel, on Downing Cycling YouTube channel coverage of the Donny Chain Gang. From Russ down in and from myself, Matt Payne. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.